What's up you guys, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we're going to talk about GSOC or Google Summer of Code and the entire application process for you to make your way into GSOC 2021. So let's get started. Alright, so for today's video we have Abdullah Deshmukh here. He's a computer engineering student based out of Pune, India. He participated for the GSOC 2020 cohort and contributed to the Flutter team. So his code has actually been merged into the Flutter open source project. So I hope you guys like it. And why don't you introduce yourself, Abdullah, for the viewers?
Hey everyone, I'm Abdullah. I'm a senior here at Zeal College of Engineering and Research, Pune. I did my diploma from MIT Pune, and I got a chance to work with the Flutter team at Google this summer under the Google Summer of Code program.
Right. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about your experience with the GSOC program and what did you do? What was your project?
So my project was about testing. So there is the official repository of Flutter samples. So it's github.com/flutter/samples, where the Flutter team publishes sample applications. So they will be able to find samples about animations and isolates in Flutter, or let's say testing, which was my project. A lot of other samples where you will be finding the best practices and how to implement those concepts. So my project was about testing. So I had to build a sample about different types of testing in Flutter, following the best practices. To give you a brief idea, it was unit testing, widget testing, and again Flutter integration, as well as state management testing. This was the first year when Dart participated in GSOC, and there were 2 projects from the Flutter team in that.
I think a lot of people might have a lot of myths and misconceptions about GSOC, and I've seen some of the other videos on YouTube where people have not made things that much clear and they have only contributed more to these myths, right? So let's just burst some of the GSOC myths and talk about what are the real advantages that being a GSOC alumnus offers you. So why don't you talk about some of the common myths and advantages of GSOC?
Okay, so myth number 1, which is the biggest myth, which I feel, is that you get a referral or an interview at Google once you, let's say you were a student of GSOC. But so no, that's not the case. It's really difficult to get an interview there. You won't even be able to get a referral directly, because see, most of the mentors, most of the organizations you'll be working with are not based from Google. So I was working with the Flutter team at Google. That's a different thing, because my organization was not. But most of the organizations, let's say it's Mozilla or CERN or Open Astronomy, there are a lot of things, Zulip, but so they are not from Google. So a few years back they used to give a referral, I think. I'm not sure about that, but I think they used to, but that's not the case now. It's it does not make any difference there. So the second myth I would say is I would say that people think that it's really easy once you get the GSOC tag under your name or something like that, but it's not, certainly not the case. A lot of people don't really know about Google Summer of Code. So the students will get a lot of respect from the students, the junior students, but certainly a lot of companies, a lot of people around the world don't really know what Google Summer of Code is.
One of the biggest myths is that GSOC is an internship. It's not really an internship. It's just a summer kind of a mentorship program where there are mentors who are seasoned software engineers and people belonging to the open source community. They're going to mentor you to help you learn how software development is like, right? So whatever you do in your under your GSOC project is going to be very similar to what you will be doing later on in your career. But it's a good introduction, and I'll let Abdullah talk about the advantages of GSOC.
So as Abhi said, this is not an internship. They don't even call it an internship, and it's much different from an internship. So in a normal internship, let's say if you're interning at a FANG company or something like that, you'll be working with the entire team, let's say a group of people, let's say 5 or 10 or whatever the team is. But here you have been assigned let's say 1 or 2 mentors for your exact project. So you'll be mostly contacting with them if the team is big, if the organization is big. So there will be subject experts there coming in to help you if you are working on something specific. So in my case, when I was working on performance tests, so the performance testing expert there helped me and just verified my tests. I wanted to see that if I am performing those things properly and if that's the best way to do it, or if I'm making any mistakes. Same goes with the technical writer. Even the technical writer from the Flutter team helped me in preparing my work product blog there, so which I have on Medium. So if you want to check that out, you can go ahead and do that. I would say that if you get a chance to intern at a big FANG type of company, I think it would be still better, because you will again working with you'll be having more interactions with the team, as compared to Google Summer of Code. So I think that's a better option that way. But yes, GSOC is better than just interning at a random company. Advantages here are that first of all, you get to work with amazing people. So the progress that you make here is really good. You won't get a chance to do that. Let's say if you're just learning by yourself and you don't get to work with these amazing people. So these are these really amazing people. So my mentor itself here, he had more experience than my actual age. So that's how you get an idea about it. He has been working in the software industry since so long. So that's how you get the idea. You get to work with these amazing people.
So as I've been explaining in my other videos, I urge you guys to build projects and work on very complicated, bigger projects as you grow. GSOC gives you a very good platform to work on a very big project that probably thousands or millions of people are already using, and you make small contributions to that, but in that process, you learn a lot about how coding is done, how big projects are maintained, how software is written. And some of these open source projects are probably the biggest and the best projects in the world. You can work for Python Software Foundation, or you can work for Debian. I know a friend of mine contributed to the Debian. Debian project is a big Linux distribution, and my friend had contributed to that, and he was in fact invited to Brazil and other places where they had conferences because he was a core contributor at Debian. It's a very good way to spend your summer, right? You increase your knowledge and you also get compensated for it. So I think Google pays around $3,000 for students in India for successfully completing GSOC, which is a great stipend, right? I mean, you are learning a lot, you're building projects, and you're getting paid for it. So, you know, what's there to lose? In fact, the only reason why I couldn't do GSOC while back in college is because I got to know about it too late. I was already in my third year. There was a week remaining for the GSOC application, and I've never done a prior contribution, and it was very late for me, right? So, but I had internships aligned. So either way, you do a good internship or you do GSOC, both give you real world software development experience and add that experience to your profile. So GSOC is a great way to get started. So I'll let Abdullah talk more about how they select you and what is the application process like, what are the timelines like. And so Abdullah, why don't you talk a little bit more about the application process?
So in the month of January, so basically around that, so there are a lot of organizations which are interested to put their projects in a Google Summer of Code that year. So a lot of organizations apply and they have these project ideas to which some of them get selected, and again they are listed down there. So once they are announced, what a normal applicant does is takes a look at all those interesting concepts. Let's say for me it was mobile engineering, so I took a look at Android and Flutter, what are the projects related to that, and I found a few interesting organizations. There were Liber Health was there, Zulip was there, which had a project on React Native. Then again the Dart organization was there, which I applied to. So you really have to find out that what you're really interested in contributing to, try contributing to it before in the application phase itself, and you create a proposal, submit it, and see how, if they find your work interesting and if they think that it would be a good idea working with you. So you finally get selected and the projects are announced. You get an email saying that you got selected and you can enjoy after that.
So yeah, that's very helpful, Abdullah. And why don't you share a little bit more light on how many organizations did you apply to? How did you go about choosing the organizations? I think there are about 200 or so organizations, and some of these come every year. Some of these might not come the next year. So how does someone actually choose what organization they want to apply to? Because they have to choose it in advance if they want to make prior contributions, right? So how do you go about choosing your organization?
So I feel like choosing a good organization for you is to do it the hard way. So let's say just go on to the previous year website on the current year itself and just search the topic, let's say mobile apps or whatever you want to do, and just take a look at all the organizations that provide projects based upon that technical concept and technology or whatever you want to call it. So you just figure out whatever organization suits your interest the best and just see whatever projects they have and which projects interest you the most. So I certainly applied only for one project, one organization. I did not apply to a lot of organizations.
So yeah, Abdullah brought up another important point here that, you know, you'll have there are about 200 or so organizations in that. Google releases a list of participating organizations, and you can also look at the lists for the previous years. So you can look at what kind of organizations participated in GSOC 2020, 2019 and stuff like that. Most of these organizations will be returning for 2021. and you can look at the list of their projects. I think somewhere around January or February, Google will release the official list of the participating organizations for the GSOC 2021. And each of these organizations will have their own page where they will describe what they're looking for, what kind of ideas they have. So they will have some project ideas. So I think every organization puts down maybe, 10, 15, 20 ideas. And you can either pick one of those ideas and build your proposal on that. Suppose I found an idea that's interesting for me and I have some background around it and I feel that I can do this. So I'll pick that idea and I'll make a proposal about that and submit it to GSOC. So Abdullah, why don't you quickly summarize your experience and just in a few lines, just explain what it was like to be a part of GSOC and how it helped you. So go for it.
Summarize, I would like to say that you might have heard that Google is an engineers driven company. A lot of decisions that Google takes are from the engineers itself. So I got to see that during the initial days of the program itself, when I asked my mentors, is there any specific approach that you want me to take while building this project? So he said that here at Google, we just let our engineers do the thinking part and come up with ideas themselves. Got to see that how people are really happy working at Google, and the engineers there are the ones who take the decisions on how the future of product will look like. Here, what I would say is that it was not really only about building the sample itself. Moving forward, I would also be able to build any kind of resources that would be helpful for the community, and how to build good resources and how to look at others' perspective of things and how to build things eventually. And I think it was a really good experience how the people communicating, the mentors are really helpful, how they communicate with everyone. And whenever they're trying to, let's say, give you a suggestion, they always say that don't feel discouraged from this and don't take it in a bad way. And they always just tell you that, okay, you're doing good, you can do better. And most of the mentors here are really, really good, and the mentors really help you achieve this project. You can ask them questions about anything about that, and in most cases they'll be able to help you with it.
And that's a very important point. One of the biggest aspects of being a good software engineer is to be able to learn from others, right? For me personally, in my company, we have a wonderful team and we have such great engineers who have done such great things in their life. You actually get to read their code when you're contributing to an open source organization, especially if you're a part of GSOC. You not only get to read their code and add to their code, you get to talk to them. So you get to know how to communicate, because you need to have certain amount of communication skills to communicate with technical people and non-technical people. So you'll get to know about how technical people actually communicate to each other. Sooner or later, you will have to communicate that way and you will be in their position mentoring your students. So it's a great way to learn a lot from very experienced people. So to conclude, I think, Abdullah, you can give your final advice to students who are actually planning to apply for the GSOC 2021 and how can they start preparing. I know we're in the month of October. I believe there's still a good enough amount of time to get started, to start contributing and to start sorting out your organizations. So what would be your final advice to students who are planning to apply for GSOC 2021?
Speaking about the preparation itself, I would say that right now you should be looking at what technology you are interested in, let's say web or mobile, and even though if you want, you can just figure out a specific framework. If you want to find out, you can just take a look at this year's projects and what are the different technologies or frameworks that are present there, and you can just start. If you are a really complete beginner, this does not matter, you can just start now as well. It's not late. So I would say just figure out whatever framework you want, take a look at those technology, maybe build some projects, possibly deploy those. Let's say if it's a mobile app, deploy them on the Play Store or App Store or whatever, it does not matter. If it's a website, just deploy it on any hosting, that make it available for users to use it. You'll also be able to mention that in your proposal itself. Don't forget to just commit those things and push those projects on your GitHub, because you'll be able to get some action going on your GitHub and get that green chart going. So it certainly does help out in the selection process as well. So they'll get to know that, okay, he has been doing some sort of work in the previous year itself.
Alright, to summarize, GSOC is a great opportunity for you if you're a student. It doesn't matter if you're studying computer science or studying something else or what college you're from. There are these open source projects and all they want to see is that you are capable of solving their problem, you're capable of delivering their project because they have those demands from you, and they will see it through the 3 months that you're doing things as planned, and they will compensate you for it. And more than that, you will learn a lot in the process, right? So yeah, all you have to do is write your proposal, make a case for yourself, because you need to convince the mentors that you're right for this job and you can get this job done. So that's the only thing that you need to be caring about, and people will start taking you seriously if you have done GSOC, right? And that's the whole point of it, and you will learn so much, because to contribute to an open source project, it's a huge project. Just to understand and navigate around that project is a skill that you will learn from it. And obviously you need to know GitHub. As Abdullah mentioned, Git and GitHub is one of the most important factors, because these repositories are mostly based on GitHub or some alternative of GitHub, but you need to know Git. And if you guys want me to make a video on Git or GitHub specifically, I can do that. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm assuming most of you already are familiar with GitHub, but I'm happy to make a video if you guys would like that. So having said that, that's my video about GSOC and how you can apply for GSOC 2021. So I will also leave Abdullah's LinkedIn and Twitter links in the description, so you guys can actually reach out to him if you have any more questions, or you can connect with me on Instagram and reach out to me. Just DM me whatever your queries are and I can help you out. So yeah, that's it. If you like this video, smash that like button and do share it with your friends who you think might benefit from this sort of video. And well, that's it. Thanks for watching.